How's it going, Andrew?
What's going on, Matt?
Not much. Dreading my appointment at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning.
What's happening? What's happening at 8 o'clock tomorrow?
I get the bases for my implants screwed into my jaw so I can finally have my front teeth back in 3 to 6 months.
Gonna get some teeth. Nice.
Yeah, this journey is finally starting to come to a close, and I can finally, before the end of the year, smile with teeth again, because I'll have all of them.
I mean, do certain things, and you got to say that you're not excited for what is about to happen, but you're excited to have teeth again. So, fair victory.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I just, this guy, to give him all due credit, he's really good at numbing me up, which is both a good and a bad thing, because that means from 8 o'clock tomorrow morning till about 8 o'clock tomorrow night, I'm not going to be able to feel my face. But at the same time, I also won't feel anything he's doing.
I mean, that sounds like the ideal situation, to be honest. Feeling your face is overrated in a situation like that.
It gets a little old after a while, though. You just want to drink something without spilling all over yourself,
Yeah, I believe it. And I've noticed it a little bit in your speech. It'll be nice to be able to speak normally without having to worry about missing teeth.
Right. Yeah. And the problem is with the four that it is, being the four front ones on the bottom, you use those teeth to push your tongue up against for certain sounds.
Teeth.
So yeah, it's been a struggle, and that I never really liked the way the temporary that I had fit. Like, it just wasn't right. So I stopped wearing that, and I've just kind of gotten used to it. But I'm excited, and the wife and the kid are going to be gone for the weekend. So it's me and the dog. I get a nice peaceful weekend of recuperating. I'm planning on doing a Star Wars marathon. So
if I could have my teeth pulled out voluntarily to get 4 days of silence, I would take it.
I figure I'm going to get home after my appointment tomorrow. I'm going to start with episode 1, go straight into episode 2, and then run the Clone Wars movie and animated series.
Perfect.
And see how far I can make it before the end of the weekend.
You watched the new Andor series?
I've watched season 1. We have not started season 2 yet. We're a little bit behind. We watched a couple episodes of Skeleton Crew. We still have to finish that.
About Bad Batch?
And then Bad Batch, I'm all caught up on. And
what about that new Underworld one?
I watched all of it.
Is it worth watching? I saw it existed, and I didn't watch it.
Did you watch the Tales of the Jedi one that they did?
What was it about?
So it was like Dooku when he was still a Jedi and his fall to the dark side, and
they were
some other stuff.
Quick hitter episodes, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
it was same idea, except it's Tales of the Underworld. So they're all shorter episodes, and it's mostly revolving around Cad Bane, actually.
Oh, that's cool. And then it does that thing where it's smaller episodes, but it kind of somehow builds an arc within them a little bit, and you're like, oh.
Yep.
Oh,
they were really good. Definitely worth the watch. But yeah, after this week, actually after annual communication, which will be today's topic, Olivia and I are going to finish off Skeleton Crew and then get to work on Andor season 2, because I hear it is phenomenal.
I only watched the first episode, so I'm very far behind too. But yeah, I'm behind on my Star Wars because I've been watching a bunch of anime recently. So I've just been down this weeb rabbit hole for a couple months.
Lame.
No, it's not. You should watch Fearin', and then you tell me if it's lame.
Nope, I'm good.
You don't want to watch a story about an elf who suddenly realizes that she never cared about people because they die so fast, and that in a blink of an eye, her friends are dead, and she has to deal with that?
I am only willing to carry my nerdiness so far.
Well, then you're missing out on quite a bit. And someday I shall convert you then, and you'll see, and you'll be like, Andrew, I never realized how cool this was. And I'd be like, yeah, we've all known but you.
Sure. All three of you.
Oh, no, not true at all. Everyone knows that Fearin's great. Everyone knows that Apothecary Diaries should have won at the Anime Awards, and it didn't. But a lot of people know, not just me.
Okay, sure.
Cool.
On that note, hit this intro.
All right.
Loosen up your ties and roll up your sleeves. It's time for Fellowship with Matt and Andrew. The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are not necessarily the views and opinions of the Grand Lodge of Wisconsin or any other Grand Lodge or any appended body.
All right, so today we're talking about our experiences with Grand Lodge and us preparing for next week, which will be our annual communication for the, God, what year is this for us now? The 100 and, see, it says it somewhere.
It should say it on the front of pre-proceedings, which I actually have the email. 181st annual communication of the Grand Lodge.
Yep, and it's kind of a good timing because we just... God, what in our last episode, what annual, that was like the 100th or something, around like the 100th anniversary of the...
1919 you pulled it from, so that would have been like 106 years ago, so like 75th?
Yeah, that sounds right. So we're, even from that old recording, we're living on the tradition, 100 years, I don't know, I lost the math already. A long time later.
106 years later.
106 years later. And yeah, so we're excited because we're going to be going down. Both Matt and I will be there. I'll be voting. Matt's there just to hang out and do some podcasting with me and to vibe. He was originally going to be a proxy.
Because I like going.
Yeah, I've gone every year too. So we got Matt going, me and a bunch of buddies. And we're going to be doing like we did last year. We're going to have a booth set up, which is going to be fun.
Yep. Quick hitter interviews again. If you listen to the show, please stop by. We'll put a microphone in front of your face.
And if you guys are apprehensive and you're going to be at any communications, don't be. These are 5-minute conversations with brothers, and we're going to be there. We'll be there Friday morning and Friday at lunch, and then we'll be there Saturday morning as well, I believe.
Right. And maybe even Friday afterwards a little bit. We'll see how it's going. But, the thing is, if you're nervous, like, I don't know what I'd say on a microphone, don't worry about it. Andrew and I don't know what we're going to say either.
I don't even know where I am right now. Yeah, annual communication is one of my highlights of the year. I look forward to it every year. I'm looking forward to it this year. I love going down to Madison for Mason Fest and just...
Right.
I enjoy about annual communication is there's always people that I only see once a year at annual communication, and I look forward to seeing some of those brothers this year.
I was actually going to bring that up as one of my favorite parts. There's guys that, I always mean to keep more in touch with over the course of the year, and it just kind of falls by the wayside a little bit, but we know we're going to see each other at annual communication and have a great time and enjoy some fellowship.
And there's a lot going on this year. I know that on Thursday there's a celebration of Freemasonry going on, and if you're going, you should have got your Eventbrite tickets. That is supporting the Wisconsin Masonic Foundation. Sounds to be a big gala.
Well, that's Friday night. That's Yacht Rock is Friday night. The celebration of Freemasonry thing is Thursday night, but that's like a celebration of the year. The one benefiting the foundation is Friday night.
That's right. On Friday, they have the big Yacht Rock and Casino night for charity. Celebration of a century. But yeah, it looks like it's going to be a big event. They're going to be doing, apparently it's going to be a really fun time. And yeah, there's a lot going on this year. I'm really looking forward to the classic game of getting up on Friday and sneaking up to our sneaky seats that we always sit in. I've grown possessive over our spots. Over when we have a secret staircase we always know how to take and sneak up and down, and it's got good access to the bathrooms, so you can sneak bathroom breaks. It's pretty awesome.
Right. Well, and I'm just looking forward to Freemasonry playing itself out the way it does every year. The democratic process and the will of the craft being known when it comes to resolutions and stuff like that, as far as, the future direction of Freemasonry in the state of Wisconsin goes.
Can you be solid and move your microphone up towards your mouth, please?
It's pretty close.
He acts like he's never done this before.
Hey, man, this headset's relatively new still, and I'm trying to drink a pint while I do this, so I don't want it in the way.
I get it.
I'm going to be on antibiotics for the next 7 days, so I had one Guinness left in the fridge, and I was like, that's going to be a temptation if I don't get rid of it. So
it's responsible.
Right.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to, having off Thursday and Friday, great long weekend, right? And on Thursday, you're coming to get me around 2 p.m. so we get to Madison with time to really, enjoy ourselves and get, you don't have to rush, get into town, drop your stuff up at the hotel and have some brother time. I'm looking forward to, I love Thursday fellowship. Even though I have to behave myself because we have business on Friday of the annual communication, it's still like everyone's always just so excited to be in town. Everyone's just pumped for Masonry. And my favorite thing is when you walk into the lobby and there's hundreds of Masons just packed in there trying to check in, and I recognize tons of them. There's like a really cool feeling when you see that.
Right. No, I agree. You know, we're going to try to sneak over to the Wisconsin Masonic Center right away and get our table all set up on Thursday as well. So it's a good thing we're rolling in early so that we can get over to the Irish pub.
I love the Irish pub. Cash only. It's very exclusive. One of the last cash only bars in the world.
Cash only, the air conditioner is always broken.
And the door is always open, letting the air in, so you have to step in and out to cool down because it's so stuffy in there.
Yep. Best pub in Madison, though, still.
So what would you say is your most memorable or favorite Grand Lodge experience that you've had since you've been attending Grand Lodge?
Ooh, that's a big question. I don't know if I can identify like just one over the years. I mean, I think it's been just being able to enjoy the time like in the hospitality rooms and, you know, get to see some of the Wisconsin leadership team sometimes with their hair let down a little bit more, so to speak, and, you know, have real conversations with them.
Guess what mine is? It's going to be, you're going to like it.
All right. Shoot.
My favorite part is every year I've gone, since you always bring your wife Olivia and I always go stag, I'm always your third wheel and I'm like your kid where I'll disappear for a while doing my thing and then you and Olivia will be like, where did Andrew go? We've lost our kid. And go find me like outside chatting with, like last year I was out there chatting with Chris Ludke for, you know, an hour or so just nerding out and you're like, where have you been? We lost you. We lost our child. He's went missing again.
I think the child reference thing started last year, and yeah, we'll just lose you for like an hour and a half. We're like, where the heck did this guy go?
Yeah, and then I'll come in and out and be like, oh, hi guys. And like, oh, there's our kid. You've been missing for a while.
I'm always worried that you're gonna like, you know, pull something where you like touch somebody's necklace and
get in a fight,
yourself in trouble.
I mean,
thankfully there's no outlaws there.
when I've been off going rogue, and I have got myself in very interesting situations over the years, talking to, I mean, people you wouldn't expect me to be talking to, like we were talking about talking with the leadership team or something. Somehow I'll end up cornering some leadership guy and just chatting with them for a while and like rolling around,
right?
All of a sudden you see
Andrew over there with the Grandmaster, and you're like, oh boy. And then it goes on a little bit longer, and you're like, I should go over there and check on this.
Yep, you look over, and the senior Grand Warden is hugging me, and we're both in tears. Like, what were they talking about, man? What were they talking about? But that's the fun thing is that, you know, what is nice is that our Grand Lodge officers, like, they don't hide away during annual communication. So they are out and about, and you are able to just approach them like any other brother. And so that's always nice, too, that you can just catch them, trap them in a conversation they don't want, but they have to deal with it because I learned from the best. I learned from Don Engels, the 95-year-old in our lodge who will trap any man. So I'm not afraid to trap any man because I've been trapped by the best.
Well, the key to trapping anyone is you just keep talking, which you are very effective at.
You just never stop. Just keep rambling and rambling. And after I've been in hospitality for too long, I can just go.
As long as you don't pause, you don't give them the opportunity to interject and be like, actually, I have to go.
As long as they don't have time to say, I have to go to the bathroom one moment. Can you excuse me? You just trap them. It's like hell.
Right. And now you know how I feel every podcast I record with you.
Especially when me and Ryan are on. But no, I mean, on top of the fellowship, which is one of my favorite parts, I actually enjoy the entire business portion too. I like doing Grand Lodge, even though sometimes in that room it can get a little stuffy. Yep. I've not always felt the best for reasons of my own. I still enjoy like participating in the craft and like a high level and, you know, being able to come down and voice my opinion and be a part of the process of the governing of the craft is always really fun too. And I think it's cool. I think it's special that we have the opportunity to actually have an impact on a lot of things too.
Right. Well, and I think, even outside of the 3 voting officers for every lodge, I think it's your duty somewhat as a Mason to be well informed and to see how all that works, right? Even if you just get to go once, I think it's important for you to see how the process plays out and understand, how those decisions are made, and, maybe ask a question or two to try to get a better understanding of why certain decisions got made and, what the direction of the craft is for the future.
And it's nice to just start to learn the basics of how things work. Like one of these, when I was reading a book on Masonry, I was talking about how Masonry prepares people for government because they start to understand how policy can become, something written can become policy, and how to present and to try to push forward. Like it is like a teeny tiny little government that we have going at annual communication that we're participating in. And like, one thing that I've always enjoyed is, last year there were some contentious resolutions and people both came down and everyone spoke on their opinions on the matter, but it was all very respectful. Like no one lost their temper. It wasn't crazy. And even afterwards, I would see people who, myself included, because I spoke on at least one resolution that I remember, talking to the people who were presenting in the opposition, just having a beer, laughing, and being like, we both have the best interest in heart. We just have different perspectives, and then we let the brothers decide, and we're not going to have hard feelings about it. We're just going to make sure that...
Right.
I've always said that to know how you're voting effectively, you need to be informed on both sides effectively as well. So if you have an opposition stance or a for stance, it's your duty to articulate it so that the brothers can make an informed decision, and then whatever that decision is, that's the will of the craft, and you move forward.
Right, exactly. And I was in that position last year. The resolution I introduced failed, and it is what it is. The craft spoke and with their votes and decided that they didn't like the policy change I was proposing, and that's fine. And I spoke with people who spoke in opposition to it, and I still speak to them this day. And you're right, there is no hard feelings. That's the way the process is supposed to work, right?
And to be fair, even the resolutions I've seen since being Mason, none of them are groundbreaking where I'd be like, if this goes through, the world's going to burn. So when it goes, you're like, I just didn't think it would be the best, but it's not the worst either. So it's not like you're like, man, the world's falling down. So sometimes it's just a matter of, trying to be efficient or a perspective or just trying to close a loophole or something, whatever it could be.
Right. Exactly. And it always sparks interesting conversation, and hearing the opposition conversation, at the end of the day, if it's something you feel strongly enough about that you want to try to bring up again, it might make you stronger in your own position, or it might actually make you change your opinion and go, you know what, you're right, actually, and this is not a good idea. Can
you imagine putting a resolution forward and then hearing such good opposition? You go, actually, I'm going to vote against my own resolution.
Or you decide that you're going to withdraw the resolution. Never mind. I'm going to withdraw this one.
Are you able to withdraw a resolution once it's on the floor?
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah, the proposer can. Yeah.
Nice. Well, I didn't know you could do that.
I do believe so, because I think I've seen it done once where it was like, actually, we're going to withdraw this one. So
interesting. You know what else I like? I like when we're up there and every resolution, in the peanut gallery, talk amongst yourselves, what do you think? What do you boys think? Oh, I don't know about that argument. Oh, maybe that one's a good argument. And we stood up there acting like that we have all the power in the world when we're just 3 votes. What do we think here?
But those conversations are important. It helps guide you in the right direction, right? If we're not talking about stuff, then we have a problem.
Then we don't care, and that's a big problem.
Right.
Yep, you should have a consensus. And I mean, in our lives, does it a little differently where before the annual communication, we talk with the lodge in open lodge and say, hey, let's vote on this direction. And occasionally, depending on the issue, we might say vote with conscience, meaning we don't have enough information here. So some of them are fairly easy where we know the will of our lodge, because we try not to say, hey, we're just going to be the dictators. S3 are going to make the decisions. We try to say, we're going to review this as a lodge, and we are your representatives, right? So we try to really be representatives of our I don't want to say constituents, but you know what I mean in the as far as the allegory goes. So we really try to be the will of the lodge, and if it's something that's very complicated, we'll say, hey, we trust you guys to make a decision. We don't really know enough information to make a good one right now, but it's still fun.
No, I agree. I feel I'm varied on that because I'm like, I want to hear all the opinions of the people sitting in the lodge, but ultimately to say like, this is the way I'm going to vote on it when I get there is hard, because what if you do just hear that absolutely compelling argument for the other side of it, where you're like, you wait, you know what? We didn't have that conversation like that, and now that I hear that conversation, I actually think it would be best if I voted the other way, you know.
I do think that I have in the past, and still to a certain extent, have some issue with the idea that based on us just reading something in Lodge where we don't get to hear the proposer's reasonings or anything like that, when we do say, this is how we're going to vote, I also have some issues with it where I think that we really need, I think it's important for us to take a tally of, based on the information, what we have now, this is the direction we'd like you guys to consider. But I'd still prefer if we left it to the representatives to go, okay, we understand the will of the lodge and we know everyone's opinions, but now we need to actually be present at the presentation to really understand what the issue is. Otherwise, like you're saying, like some of these resolutions aren't very clear on the why sometimes. And like the what are they seeing? It just explains what it is. And without some of the context or explanations, it can be really hard to fully see the whole reasoning behind it, and if it might, and that could very well change minds. Personally, I'd like them all to be vote with the heart, but I'd still like it to be discussed at Lodge so that we understood the pulse on the will of our members.
Right, exactly. You know, it's good to know the general direction that the Lodge is leaning, or overwhelmingly leaning, you know, but at the end of the day, you know, there could be something that comes up where you're like, holy cow, that completely changes everything I thought about this.
And at the same time, like if it is so overwhelming, it's very unlikely that anything they're going to say is going to really change if it's that overwhelming.
Right.
But on a lot of these, I feel like you could easily make the argument that it's worth hearing it out before making a hard decision on too.
Right. And, you know, to a certain extent, you've trusted your elected officers to make decisions when it comes to running the lodge. So you have to have faith in them to be able to make the right decision when it comes to resolutions and such as well.
I agree. What type of presentations do you think we're going to see this year?
I know we'll get one from the education committee.
Yep. I always like the education committee's one. I mean, I never know. That's the fun thing, is that sometimes, you know, there's on top of the standard stuff, there's usually presentations on various things, and I never know what they're going to pull out, and that always keeps me interested too.
Right.
Like,
I'm hoping the format this year will be similar to how it was last year, where it was like resolution, presentation, resolution, presentation, so that we're not sitting there going through the slog of like 8 resolutions back to back to back to back, you know.
I like that too, because it like broke it up a little bit, where you could have some time where you're like thinking, and then you'd be like, okay, now let's hear from so-and-so, and then you would have a break. You could also stretch your legs or go to the bathroom if you needed to, and then come back and be like, all right, we're moving on to the next resolution, and then you're like, okay, let's go, and then back and back.
Right.
Yeah, I like that too. I thought it was a good stuff.
No, that was a really nice format last year, so hopefully we see that again.
So the big question is what are we going to do for lunch on Friday? Are we gonna get that place that Dave recommended? I'm kind of in on it, man.
We'll talk to our lunch runner as we drive up on Thursday and see how she feels about going to one place or the other. How's that sound?
That sounds good. And actually, I would like to put this out to our listeners, because so Matt and I have been pretty typeset since we've been going to annual communication. There's a sandwich shop or deli, like a little bit right around the corner from the Wisconsin Masonic Center that we've been going to for years. And if you're a listener and you know any secret, really good lunch spots that we can grab lunch to go, please comment when this video releases, letting us know, because we're free agents and we're looking for a good lunch, because we're going to be trapped talking with you guys. So we have to have a lunch runner. That doesn't mean we don't want good eats.
Right. Well, and I might be more limited this year. I might not be able to do like a sandwich. It all depends on.
I'll chew it for you and spit it in your mouth like a baby bird.
No, absolutely
no.
not.
I insist. What kind of brother would I be if I wouldn't help a brother in need? Right when we're doing
You
the
know-
podcast, we'll be talking, and I'll be like, hold, please. And I'll just go and spit it in your mouth. And I'll be, or you can continue to the guest. And so you can finally eat it. Partly digested
See-
by my mouth.
There's these things called forks and knives. I could still cut it up and just, bypass having to bite it off.
No need. You're injured. I got you.
God, I'm gonna have
brotherly baby
nightmares
births.
tonight.
You're gonna wake up with me
Oh.
when you're sleeping at a communication. I'll be like, open your mouth. I'm gonna spit some food in there.
Oh my God!
I'm gonna kiss you on the
I'm
cheek
gonna-
and say, "Love you, brother," and just walk out. And you're like, "What the heck just happened to me?"
I'm gonna wake up in a cold sweat in the middle of the night tonight because you're gonna show up in my nightmares now. Thank you for that.
Feeding you like my little baby bird.
Oh my God! No,
I'll
no.
see you that in my nightmares and in my waking life.
That image is now burned into my brain. This is not good. It's probably burned into a few listeners' brains too. Yo. Sorry about that, guys.
Brothers, baby bird, other brothers. That's all I got to say. So anyway, on to our main topic for the day: picking up dog poop in your yard.
Well, it's summer now. It's maintenance cleaning.
So, what other memories do you have from animal communication? You got to give me more than just there's too many memories to choose from.
Well, let's see. I've been going since 2019, so at this point, there is a lot. I mean, there's been a lot of good conversations with various people. Sitting down and having a glass of scotch with the past Grand Master and Grand Secretary and a couple other past Grands, and that was a good time one time. And I don't know, it's all over the place. Presenting a resolution is probably one of my highlights because that's something not a lot of people have the opportunity to do or take the responsibility to do, I guess. And so that was a lot of fun. That was a learning lesson. It's definitely been something where, like, because I've had to make a couple of presentations for like the low 12 and stuff like that, and then that resolution presentation. It's been something where getting comfortable speaking in front of the lodge is like one thing. Getting comfortable speaking in front of 500 people in like an auditorium setting is another. So it's been helpful with that.
I actually found when I was speaking in front of the auditorium, it was easier than the lodge because there was almost so many people that my brain just couldn't even process it. Whereas in the lodge, sometimes it feels like it's so close. You know what I mean? With that, it was just a sea of things, and I was like, whatever.
Right. Well, and you were also at a mic, though, where you were looking at the stage as opposed to being at the podium at the front looking at the entire crowd.
I guess for me, I get fed by the energy of a crowd if I can see them. And so I actually felt more uncomfortable staring towards the Grand Master because I couldn't read how I was being received, and looking at the very stoic face of past Grand Master Dave was like, I think if he's listening, you can be hard to read sometimes, especially when you're sitting in the front of a room. Whereas if I was looking at the crowd, I can usually, the way my speaking style works is I adjust based on what I'm feeling from like the subtext from the audience, and that kind of is what fuels me. So I'd actually prefer to be staring at the crowd. Then I would have been really pumped.
What's really funny about being up at that podium is the crowd's out there, but you can't see anything because there's a light right in your face.
Dude, that's how it felt when I was on Kill Tony doing that little bit that I did when I was on that podcast briefly. Same thing where I could tell there was a crowd, but all I could see was lights. And I just went, this is actually kind of helpful. But I could also hear my wife sobbing in the front row from excitement, which is really messing me up there. So, oh my God. And I was like, this is freaking me out, man.
Back when Kill Tony was still just a baby.
Oh, I know. It's fun, though. But yeah, I mean, you also got to deliver a patch once, which was kind of cool.
Well, I did that a few times for the low 12. So, yeah, I said that.
No, I don't listen to you when you talk.
Yeah, I know. I said that in the resolution. A couple of times I've had the opportunity to present something at Grand Lodge. So it's been pretty cool. But I don't know, man. I just like going up there. I like the whole atmosphere of it all. I like feeling I I feel more connected to the entire state when you know what I mean. Like you get to hear the opinions of the guys from up north, you get to hear the opinions of the guys from out west, you get to have those conversations. You get a better picture for what masonry is in Wisconsin as a whole.
There's also like a really cool energy that you get to tap into because the craft can feel so separated sometimes, and when everyone is all packed in the same room, there's like a really cool energy that I've noticed too, where you can actually feel like the brotherly love flowing through the room and the harmony between brothers. Like there's something special about it.
Right. Agreed. You know, every time we do like grand honors up there and you got like 500 guys doing it and it's all in sync.
Oh, it looks so cool. It looks so cool. Or when you're seeing Dugards and signs all done in sync, there's something really cool about that too.
Right. And me sitting over there going, no, that was not quite right. That was because I nitpick.
Mm-hmm.
As you know from my education about Dugards and signs and lodge. So
don't look too closely. Soft eyes. All right. All right. I want to start some drama. Can I start some drama?
I don't know. Maybe what drama are you trying to start?
All right, we're gonna really ruffle some feathers. So, which hospitality room is your favorite? The Zor hospitality or the Grotto hospitality?
Oh, are you trying to get me in trouble?
Yeah, let's try to stir the pot. Which hospitality room do you enjoy more?
You first.
All right, mine's a nuanced answer, and it's gonna be a cop out because I do enjoy both. What I like about the Zor hospitality room is it's very packed. It's very chaotic and it's almost stressful to be in there. But like they're very hospitable, very fun, but it's just packed. What I enjoy about the Grotto's hospitality room is they're still busy, but it's a little more chill. So when you're too stressed out from the Shrines one, you pop to the Grotto to just chill out for a second, chat with some great guys, have another drink, and it's like they complement each other. That's my opinion on it.
Ditto.
No, you can't get away with it. You got to be more specific.
No, I actually 100% agree with what you said, and I'm going to eat those words at some point in the future, but I could not have said that one better myself, because that is exactly how it is. I mean, they're both great, but for different reasons.
We're not even getting in trouble. The Discord keeps beeping onto our sound audio. I'm going to try to mute this, but friendly reminder to our listeners, if you would like to join us on Discord, you can hear it bumping in our recording right now. So if you're interested in our Discord, some of the other Masonic podcasts are up in are bumping around in our chat and here doing whatever.
Wow, I'm not getting those.
Yes, because you don't participate in our cool ass Discord, so that's on you.
Well, no, it's not that. It's just I'm not getting those notifications. But maybe that's because I have my video box for a call bumped out from my normal.
Maybe if I put this
Discord
full screen, I bet if it's full screen, it blocks it. Either way. But yeah, I mean, it's very exciting. And if you guys do see us at Annual Communication, feel free to say hi. We're always love to meet our listeners. Come visit us at our table. Is there anything else you want to talk about Annual Communication?
No, I'm good. I figured we could just have a fun, chill episode this week where we'll get into the weeds on a more serious topic for the one that everybody can enjoy on their drive to Annual Communication. And then we'll hopefully have a couple weeks worth of interviews again.
Oh, you know what I wanted to do? I don't know if this will be helpful. Everyone should know this, but if you are on your way to Annual Communication next week, make sure, I've heard people messing this up. 1, you have your dues card. For the love of God, have your dues card.
Right.
2, if you're a voting member, registration opens at 10 a.m. on Thursday, and registration closes at I don't know.
I think it's usually around like 3 or 4.
Yeah, so when you get there, try to make sure you register. But also note that if you don't make it for Thursday, registration is open again at 6:30 a.m. on Friday. And then that will close, I'm assuming, sometime before session starts, which is at 8:30 a.m. So make sure you're on time. If you haven't got your tickets for lunch or the dinners or the various events, and if they're still open, please make sure you get those if you want to attend those and you need food and all that good stuff. If you're looking to meet Matt and I having some fun, we'll probably be at the Irish Pub. You'll find us there. Anything else you'd think that it'd be pertinent news to include about preparing for... bring a suit. Please bring a suit.
Yep. And be cognizant. Be willing to pay attention. And don't be afraid to ask a question. if you're wondering why something is the way it is. So,
Yep, I think that's a good reminder to any responsible voting brother to care about what is happening in your grand lodge. Pay attention. Don't take it as a joke. Listen and actually think things through, and make sure that if you have a question and something seems off, do not be afraid to voice that, because this is, when we are convened for annual communication, is our time to voice how we as individual lodges feel, and to vote accordingly, and to support or push back on various resolutions or anything like that. So it is your opportunity to
have your voice heard.
Correct. And don't forget that, because this is a huge responsibility. And though I joke about having too much fun in hospitality, don't have too much fun. This is an honor and a responsibility if you are a voting member of your lodge, and it should be taken seriously.
Agreed. Make sure you're following us on all of our socials. And if you want to reach out to find out about the Discord, feel free to email us at timeforfellowship@gmail.com.
And the Discord is also in the show notes.
Oh, perfect. It's in the show notes as well. There we go.
Cool. Well, thanks for tuning in, everybody, and we will see you at Annual Communication.
Have a great day.